as politicians react to the State of the Nation address.
This time, really, I am no longer interested in non-performers.
FDC finally replaces Yusuf Nsibambi with Kasozi Bidibawa as the new deputy president for Buganda region.
It takes a lot of sober mind to talk to all our members, the former members.
And the good news is 2 more Ebola cases have been discharged as the condition remains stable.
This is NBS Live at 9 with Victoria Sibia, Samson Kasumba and Kanari Mugume.
And now on to our top story tonight. Delivering his State of the Nation address to the newly inaugurated 12th Parliament, President Yoweri Museveni has declared a total war on corruption and state-level complacency. With the newly appointed cabinet looking on, the president outlined a 5-year agenda defined by aggressive economic targets, strict infrastructure accountability, and what he calls a period of no more sleep for public servants.
The tone for the newly sworn-in government has been set early. Opening the new legislative session, President Museveni revealed that while he was supported by masses in the just concluded general elections, there were efforts to destabilize Uganda.
First of all, I thank and congratulate all the Ugandans for having participated in the series of elections ever since the 15th of January 2026 and for massively supporting the NRM. Thank you so much, Ugandans. Above all, I thank God for all these victories and for the peace in the country in spite of so many evil people that have been plotting to disturb the peace.
But the celebratory mood quickly shifted to a stern warning. For public servants expecting business as usual, the president delivered a harsh wake-up call stating he will not tolerate corruption, overburdening him and non-performers.
No more corruption. Obscusi, no more Kongora, leaning on your hole when others are digging. That's called a Kongora in our language. No more Kugumaza, Kuzia, diverting somebody's attention from the real target to a wrong target. No more Kutuhenda, overburden us when we work and we are just sitting down. And no more politeness to non-performers who want leadership for their own ego and personal interests. This is the Xanja, no sleep.
While the president has just appointed ministers and none has taken oath, he has sounded a warning to them, highlighting inefficiencies in infrastructure sector where he says he witnessed unacceptable issues, especially on Fort Portal Road, stating he's not ready to listen to stories. He reiterated that the days of politeness are done.
The new ministers must ensure I don't want to see what happened to some of the roads like the Fort Portal Road. But there's a story about that Fort Portal Road. There's a story of corruption on that road. I hope the new team will deal with that issue. We must go up to the parish levels. You may not be serving the parish, but you call the parish chiefs at the constituency level and make sure they do their work. If they don't do their work, we shall sack all of them.
Museveni asked MPs to supervise government programs at parishes, discouraging the hefty allowances in supervision of government programs. He spoke to the use of motorcycles by parish chiefs and the unending fuel requests, stating he'll sack several if they fail to do their work.
Leaders talking of allowances to reach their people and get them out of poverty, I almost get nausea. I feel like vomiting. If you don't know, when I look at you, the way you do things, I really feel very not pleased, but out of politeness, I've been keeping quiet. But now I'm telling you. Another mistake is for leaders to give personal money to constituents. Let him use a bicycle. It is better for him. He will live longer if he rides the bicycle. Even a Gombora chief, the Gombora is not so big. Why should we have fuel? All that work can't be done because there is no money for fuel.
On the economy, the president revealed an impressive 6.4% growth rate ahead of the commercial oil production. He emphasized building an independent, self-sustaining economy to lift citizens into commercial money positions, advising critics to be humble and learn from Uganda's success. The president has set a high bar for his new term. All eyes now turn to the legislative floor and the new cabinet to see how quickly this mandate of strict accountability will be enforced.
Members of Parliament and political party leaders gave mixed reactions to President Yoweri Museveni's frustration with office bearers who constantly demand allowances for basic duties, while some defended the requests as necessary for work on the ground. Many leaders backed the president's renewed anti-corruption push, arguing that Uganda urgently needs tougher measures to curb graft and restore public trust.
This time, really, I am no longer interested in non-performers.
President Yoweri Museveni's new anti-corruption agenda has since drawn broad support from leaders across the political divide. Many welcomed the proposals amidst calls for fair and transparent enforcement.
Corruption is the disease that is eating this country. It has to be fought.
We lose lots of resources through leakages and corruption, and therefore he has urged us, all of us, to step up our efforts in the fight against corruption.
The president also voiced frustration with leaders who keep demanding hefty allowances to perform basic duties. Some backed him, saying public funds must be protected from waste, while others pushed back, arguing that allowances are essential for MPs to serve constituents effectively.
For him, in his example, he said him and the young people did not have much money, but they had the word, just like in the Bible, that there was the word. So I believe that this should speak to us, just like I did not wait for him to give me money to preach the same gospel.
The issue of allowances is talked of 1970s when he was a teacher. He never got allowances. That's very true. I want to thank him for being a hardworking person and being exemplary. But now things have changed. The allowances, I think he should leave that allowances, because really it gives us more motivation to go. Because when you go on ground, we have to buy drinks for people. You have to give them transport allowance. You have to give them, it is a daily routine that people are used to. So when you come now and change that, I think even calling for a meeting, you not see anyone actually come for a meeting.
Members of Parliament, political leaders and other guests who attended the president's shared views on several other issues highlighted in the 2026 State of the Nation address, each offering their own perspective on the government's priority and direction.
He in particular today focused his address particularly on the agricultural aspect, emphasizing to people what can bring money, emphasizing the aspect of value addition, which is greatly important, and emphasizing what the parish development model can do to get us out of poverty.
Opposition members of Parliament boycotted the third sitting of the 12th Parliament, addressed by President Yoweri Museveni, highlighting continued human rights violations, electoral malpractices and emergence of Ebola outbreak in the country. However, some opposition and NRM legislators who attended the event at Kololo slammed the accusations as baseless and wastage of taxpayers' money.
Article 101(1) of the Constitution gives the President mandate to address Parliament on the state of nation, especially on areas of governance, national security and other key matters. During such an address, all members of Parliament are expected to attend and listen in to the President in silence. However, most legislators from the opposition chose not to attend the third parliamentary sitting. According to opposition whip Paul Mwiru, the boycott was a deliberate decision in relation to the ongoing violation of human rights in the country.
You know, we have prisoners of conscience, the Alex Mufumbiro, the Dimutwe, among others, the Mwanga Chivumbi.
I am very dismayed today because I thought that we are having a transitional parliament.
Citing the Ebola outbreak in the country, the opposition whip argued that they could not participate in the president's address while some of their supporters remain detained in prison.
There's violations which are in the field, coupled with given those issues and with the Ebola epidemic in the country. So we will not take a risk.
He also stated that to date, they have not accepted the outcome of the 2026 presidential election.
The 2026 general election, where the Commission has not published the results.
It means they have no idea for people of Uganda. It means they have nothing to tell Ugandans, because this was the right time they will tell the president something.
Meanwhile, Moses Atan, the MP for Soroti East on the FDC ticket, who attended the State of the Nation address together with several other legislators, criticized the boycott and accusations as baseless.
And as opposition, we are part of government by virtue of the fact that we took oath. I took oath on the 13th, and we even elected leadership of opposition.
Well deserved to attend, but all in all, it's their opinion. You can't drag them. This is democracy expected, as we have all been advocating for reconciliation. This should be the phase, and the president has always had an open hand in terms of whatever opinions they have. He's very accommodative.
Won't change much by walking away. We need to sit and discuss and agree, and that way they will have benefited, would have benefited.
Well, if the short, brief statements on Twitter, or formerly Twitter, on X, helping you understand the long speeches and the big statements quite easily, we've done that for you for the State of the Nation, for your better understanding on the highlights of State of the Nation 2026. So let's take a look at some of the slogans that have characterized this State of the Nation for this year in 2026. The President emphasized that it is Kisanja no more sleep. It is not Kisanja no sleep, but Kisanja no more sleep, and gave explanation for that. He also says no more leaning on your hoe while others are working. And he also said no more kugumaza, that is diverting people's attention. And then no more corruption. He also says no more politeness to the non-performers who want leadership for ego, personal interests, and said they should step aside. And also said that families with land must get into the money economy. But what about those without land? Those without land, the president said that their solution is emyoga, which is skills specialization. Well, the State of the Nation address is intended to account for government performance and chart the country's future direction. Some political analysts argue that it often falls short of public expectations. They say it leaves critical questions unanswered and places greater emphasis on past achievements rather than on the pressing challenges facing Ugandans today.
At the beginning of each parliamentary session, the President delivers an address to Parliament under powers granted by Article 101(1) of the Constitution. Beyond fulfilling his constitutional requirement, analysts say the occasion serves a broader purpose. It provides an opportunity for the President to account to members of Parliament and through them, the citizens they represent on what government has achieved, including the use of borrowed resources.
So you are using taxpayer money, sometimes borrowing on their behalf, to be able to deliver certain programs and services.
Economist Dr. Fred Muhumuza says all Ugandans should pay close attention to the President's address, noting that it helps them to monitor government service delivery and holds leaders accountable. He adds that the speech often covers a wide range of issues that directly affect citizens.
So you want to hear what has he promised, because you also want to hold your representative on the things the President promised, because not many of us can reach the President. But the President is going to address our representatives. So we can go back, and they are the ones who are supposed to hold the government accountable, members of Parliament, councillors, district officials. These are the people who hold government accountable. Now, you want to hear as a citizen what has been mentioned about your area of interest.
Instead of national address, there should be transparency between the head of state that is addressing Parliament and addressing the nation, and us, because we have different expectations and we want the President to live to those expectations.
Despite its significance, some observers argue that the President often spends considerable time reflecting on historical events while giving less attention to pressing national concerns and the country's future direction.
Tells stories of the past, talks about, parish development model, who has reared five pigs and who is rearing which chicken. But essentially, the State of the Nation address is to map out the bigger the bigger trajectories of where the nation should be going.
A key question that often arises is how government commitments are tracked to determine whether they are fulfilled. Experts say both the Office of the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Finance have established mechanisms to monitor government pledges, although implementation challenges sometimes persist.
Now, some of them may actually align, but the budgets are not there. Let's not forget the budget space for Uganda continues to shrink. What is available? The budget will grow 84 trillion. But if you look at what is available to offer services, that is continuing to remain stagnant amidst a growing population.
Analysts further argue that one of the major obstacles to implementing government commitments lies in the structure and operations of public institutions, where a significant share of resources is spent on administration rather than service delivery.
So I think that in terms of structure, the cabinet is one of the deficiencies that we have, that you are not going to be able to change the implementation architecture of government unless you deal with the cabinet and create a lean, smart, and professional cabinet that behaves and acts like a team of managers. Based on all my research, local governments are part of the most dysfunctional structures of the government.
They say that following the President's address, Parliament should critically examine the issues raised, enact laws where necessary, and ensure that government commitments are translated into concrete action.
Let's throw some perspective on the State of the Nation address. And joining us tonight is Dr. Patrick Wakida, Member of Parliament for Kaweri County under the NRM ticket, together with Honorable Moses Atan, Member of Parliament for Soroti City East under the FDC ticket. Gentlemen, many thanks for joining me tonight. You both attended the State of the Nation address. Dr. Wakida, I'll begin with you. What would you say was your overall takeaway?
My take-home was that the President is so concerned about the poverty levels at the household level. He's so concerned about supporting people to start to work, to come out of poverty. You know, currently what you don't realize is that this country is transiting from a precondition to take off to a takeoff stage. And you don't want to reach a takeoff stage, which is the third stage in economic development, and some people are left behind. So he's focusing on ensuring, and you could hear him passionately talking about how can we make our people work? How can we make people work at individual, at a company, and at a national level? And for me, that level of commitment from the President only shows to me that he has been working. He says he has laid the foundation, and indeed it has been laid. If you want to look at it this way, you have roads. You have enough power to propel industrialization. You have a number of people that have been trained. You have universities producing all these people. You have market. People now have money to buy these products. In fact, when I became a director in Uganda Investment Authority, I had totally different perspective of this country. I thought there was no industrialization. From 60 industries about 10 years ago, Uganda now has got about 600 industries. If you went to Namamve, if you went to different places, you'll find people are producing. But now he's saying, can we work so hard? Because the takeoff stage requires proper preparation.
Right. And what was this year's miss in the State of the Nation for you as an individual?
Of course, most people thought the President is going to go into details of explaining to them, this is what we've done, this is the number of people unemployed, and this is what we are going to do. He focused on the way forward for this country. And for me, from an economic perspective, that explanation that we have even put money at a parish level to a tune of 500 million per parish to help those people to start to work, to produce something for themselves so they can sell and make an economy for themselves.
Right.
For me, it's very important.
Honorable Tan, what would you say is the miss for this year's State of the Nation? You were among the few opposition members of Parliament that attended at Kololo.
Thank you very much, my brother Canary. I attended the State of the Nation address because I wanted to appreciate the message the President has. And this is a constitutional obligation under Article 101, Subclause 1 And under our rules of procedure, Rule 10, subclause 4A. And I came having reviewed the previous State of the Nation address. And in the previous State of the Nation address, the President laid out a program of government for 365 days. And that was the State of the Nation address on the 5th of June 2025. And 12 months down the road, the President returned this afternoon to address the country. And my mist was I expected, because the State of the Nation address precedes the budget, and what is laid out in the program the President tabled today is going to be funded by taxpayers. And the budget is going to be read on the 11th. We appropriate, as Parliament does appropriate resources to achieve the program of government. But then I expect that the State of the Nation address should have reported where we were on June 5th, 2025, and where we have reached after 365 days, given the resources we appropriated, and then what has been the impact.
All right, so more like an account.
Then thereafter, lay out that having done this much, this is where we now want to move in the next 12 months. But what I found detailed in the address was giving a base of like, you do not care of the resources we appropriated the 12 months. You are looking and focusing Uganda in the 60s, in the 70s, in 1986. And then what struck me was the aspect of the cattle, dairy, the beef, and then the cattle corridor. And then I was listening, a member of parliament from Teso, bordering Karamoja, 60% of the cattle corridor is in Teso and Karamoja. There is not even a breeding center in those two sub-regions. There has not been the efforts. And I was like, wait, Mr. President, am I listening to you?
All right,
but
so
we shall engage
you do
in
not
these
feel like
debates.
you do not feel like he addressed the real issues. Did you feel like the 2-hour speech was a little bit detached from reality on ground?
Yes, I kind of felt, because I am a farmer, I live on farming, and I know the challenges the farmer is going through. Even with the amounts of resources he said are available, accessing these resources under the Agriculture Credit Fund is a big challenge. The aspect of the inputs, fertilizers, the cost of inputs and the quality of pesticides, whatever, it's so exorbitant, and farming is becoming difficult. Yes, I appreciate the mode of delivery of the State of the Nation address using the video clips. But then the question is, how many are in that caliber as farmers?
Right. So, Honorable, last one from me. The issue of the opposition boycotting, has it yielded fruit all these years? They've been boycotting the State of the Nation, plus their argument that there are concerns on political prisoners, Ebola outbreak, and electoral malpractices, that is their reasons on why they are not attending the State of the Nation address. Do these arguments hold water?
First and foremost, I will put it categorically that we had no boycott as opposition, and it was on record that it will be a normal sitting, the one who chooses to attend or not to attend. But I noticed that majority of my colleagues chose not to attend, and that is their discretion. But let us point to the fact that as colleagues and legislators, we were elected to represent people, and we saw on the 13th to 15th, as opposition, we have constituted the leadership on opposition side.
Right.
We have taken up to lead committees. We are being designated on sectoral and standing committees. And look, I asked myself, do the people of Soroti East expect me to tell them that I've refused to go and listen to what I agreed to by swearing to uphold and defend the Constitution?
Dr. Wakita, this missing of Parliament by the opposition members of Parliament, including their leader, the leader of opposition, Honorable Joel Senyonyi, what sort of tone does it set for the next 5 years of Parliament, the 12th Parliament?
You know, I walked to the space where the opposition MPs are supposed to sit, and I found their Honorable Tan. And I asked him, where are the rest of our colleagues? And he said, maybe they will come, maybe they will not. Let me say this. When you are opposing, you must oppose with a reason. You must have the courage to listen to the person, pick out things that you want to oppose. I found that was not correct, but you see, it's their discretion that they did not come. I used to be in opposition, but I want an objective opposition where you do things objectively, not to wake up and say you won't attend. You would rather go and listen to this person than to be, to keep away from that person. It sends a very, very negative, image.
Do you feel they are being unfair to the voters that did elect them?
Traditionally, I've seen opposition boycott spaces where the president is. And when I used to be in opposition, I used to tell them that's wrong. Go there and listen to them.
Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having you, and thank you so much for accepting to speak to us. Give us your views on state of the nation.
Feedback brought to you by.
They are designed to support your growth. Visit absa.co.ug for personal loans that help where it matters. ABSA, your story matters.
And the way it was
And now let's take a look at your feedback on our opinion question. And the question tonight that we did post earlier on social media using hashtag NBS Live at 9. What was the key take home from the State of the Nation address? Let's take a look at your comments real here. Cosmas Amteide says, the key take home from the 2026 State of the Nation address delivered by President Museveni is an aggressive push for economic sovereignty, rapid industrialization, and an absolute zero-tolerance stance on public corruption. Ariat Reagan says, address was the emphasis on sustaining economic growth through infrastructure development, industrialization, job creation, and improved service delivery, while strengthening accountability to ensure that the benefits of development reach all citizens. Ahumza Maven says opposition and NRM-leaning MPs need to work together with a common person on grounds of achieve, I think not archiving, he meant achieving all what the President Museveni has addressed today.
More to come.
Veteran and serving politicians are warning about the rising cost of political appointments, especially to government agencies. Saying when you deploy a lot of government officials, it's a burden on taxpayers' money. But that story and much more are coming up here on NBS Live at 9. Don't touch your remote.
You will always know when you're in the presence of the finest. It's like time slows down, just enough for you to feel everything in full flavor.
Just Kamut Lager. Alcohol is not for certain persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
In 30 seconds, I'll tell you why you have until the 30th of June 2026. First, the 30th of June is your deadline to file your tax returns for the financial year ending 2025-2026. Don't wait. Late filing means errors, and errors mean penalties. Second, if you have an outstanding tax, pay your principal by the 30th of June 2026, and URA will give you a 100% tax waiver. No interest, no penalties, gone. File and pay now at www.ura.go.ug.
Developing Uganda together.
In a world that's always changing, the foundations of trust must stay strong. For over 60 years, we've built the minds that build trust, shaping the professionals who carry confidence into boardrooms, communities, and lives. Because trust doesn't happen by chance. It's built, tested, and taught. As the world moves forward, so do we. Blending data, innovation, and human insight to prepare the next generation of industry leaders.
Insurance Training College in Uganda, enhancing professionalism.
And that's it for today. Till the next episode.
Like a daily bando, like a daily bando, like a daily bando. Omuliro nguwulira muli mu mutima gukankana like drums. Kalakata, kalakata, endungu ya kusabula. We gonna do free on fire, free on fire, free on
fire. They share an office. Some work in the day, some at night. What they have in common: focus, dedication. That's what makes them champions. They also share something else: the reward of being one. The official beer of the FIFA World Cup 2026. Not for persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
In a fast-moving world, why are we still stuck with paperwork? Signing here, stamping there, moving from office to office. It's exhausting. Now, there's a better way. With UG Pass, you can securely prove your identity, sign documents, and access government services anytime, anywhere. No delays, no stress. Everything is instant, safe, secure, and government-backed. UG Pass, your identity secured. Available in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. UG Pass is a product of NITA Uganda.
How do you make a party? You take time to prepare, to bring all the pieces together, to craft it right. The result, great refreshment. And that makes it time well spent. Club, brewed longer for longer refreshment.
Let's talk about the cost of political appointments. And here it is veteran and serving politicians that are warning about the rising cost of political appointments, especially to government agencies, which they say is burdening the taxpayer. They do argue that many of these positions are handpicked by the executive with little room for equal opportunity or proper vetting on matters of competence. According to them, this trend is stretching service delivery, and a gap is seen here that they want the 12th Parliament to close during the vetting processes.
Every election year,
President Museveni uses his mandate as the fountain of honor to appoint both serving politicians and defeated constituency candidates from the ruling party and opposition to vacant posts in public service and government agencies. Critics, however, say these decisions are often made regardless of the technical skills or professional competence of the appointees, leading to endless fights in government agencies between the board and some appointed chief executive officers. Veteran politicians describe the practice as a breach of the law, urging that it denies other qualified Ugandans the opportunity to compete fairly, as some candidates are allegedly handpicked without transparent verification of their qualifications.
When an individual is recruited without due process and without ensuring that they have the relevant qualification, it is not only illegal in terms of recruitment, but equally we are meant to now see poor and ineffective service delivery. It becomes a question.
Legislators note that vacant public positions must be advertised in the media to attract equal opportunity applicants. The newly elected chairperson of COSASE, Mwada Nkunyinji, warns that Parliament is prepared to confront such inconsistencies during the vetting process.
So we're going to be very keen when it comes to recruitment, the staffing, among others, because it has been equally a problem in terms of accounting institutions. And many times you find that some institutions are housing ghost workers.
The shadow cabinet that has been appointed, they should not lose energy that you prepare a report, no actions taken.
However, political scholar Reverend Dr. Simon Feta describes such appointment in the Ugandan context as a political handshake, often negotiated outside Parliament. He remains hopeful that the top Parliament will strictly adhere to the rules during the vetting process.
Sometimes the politics outside of Parliament insists and overrides in observed cases so far in the past. But I hope that as an honorable house, that the rules of the house will stick to the constitution, and the constitution will stick to the rules, and the rules of the constitution and of the house will stick to the hearts of the appointing authority.
Let's talk about the Forum for Democratic Change that has elected a former Machinde East Member of Parliament, Ibrahim Kasozi Bidibawa, and he is taking off as the Deputy President for Buganda region, replacing Yusuf Nsibambi, who recently crossed to the ruling NRM, that's the National Resistance Movement. The election, which was characterized by intense competition drama and scuffles among supporters of rival candidates, now places Kasozi at the center stage of efforts to reunite the party, revive its activist tradition, and as well restore the FDC's influence in Uganda's opposition politics, if that is anywhere near possible.
After hours of closed-door deliberations, members from Buganda region on the FDC National Executive Committee have elected former Makinde East Member of Parliament Ibrahim Kasozi Bidibawa as the party's Deputy President for Buganda.
Opportunity to hand over the flag to you.
One Uganda! One people! One Uganda!
Kasozi replaces Yusuf Nsibambi, who recently defected from the opposition party to join the ruling National Resistance Movement. The election process was marked by tension and drama, with scuffles among supporters of rival candidates. The contest, held in the absence of FDC President Patrick Amuriat Oboy and Secretary General Nathan Nandala Mafabi, attracted several contenders, including former Chadondo East Member of Parliament, Apollo Kantinti, and Richard Muyombia. Of the 22 votes cast, Kasozi secured 11 votes to emerge winner, while Kantinti garnered 7 votes and Muyombia received 1 vote. 3 ballots were declared invalid.
The person who has scored the highest number of votes, and the candidate is Ibrahim Kasozi Bidibawa.
Speaking shortly after being declared winner, Kasozi called for unity within the party, urging members to put aside internal differences and work collectively towards restoring FDC's standing in Uganda's political landscape.
Giving you a leadership in a situation where all of you are not balancing.
It takes a lot of sober mind to talk to all our members, the former members, those who have been demoralized, to see how we can come in.
Kasozi further pledged to revive the party's activist roots, arguing that opposition politics should be driven by engagement with citizens and advocacy for their concerns rather than confined to boardroom discussions. Kasozi is now expected to serve in the position until 2028 with the task of strengthening the party's structures in Buganda and helping chart a path toward renewed political relevance for the FDC.
Over to matters court, where Butambala Chief Magistrate Deogracius Sejemba has further adjourned the terrorism case involving Mwanga Chivumbi and 23 other persons until the 25th of June 2026. This after the state attorney, Salama Nabosa, insisted that she could not commit the accused persons to the High Court without the relevant case file. It was the third time the prosecution has failed to produce the case file required to commit the accused persons to the High Court.
At around 10 a.m., Mohammed Mwanga Chivumbi and his co-accused were brought to court under heavy security, and before the court officially sat, they were placed in the dock as proceedings began to determine the progress of the prosecution's plan to commit them to the High Court. However, State Attorney Salama Nabosa insisted that she could not commit the accused persons to the High Court without the relevant case file. She said that even the case file used in the International Crimes Division of the High Court in Wandegeya, where Chivumbi and his co-accused had previously applied for bail, is not in their possession.
The bail application worship is still ongoing, and it's the reason probably why the claim is not yet back this side.
Lawyer Samuel Moyizi reminded the court that it was scheduled to sit specifically to handle the committal of Chivumbi and his co-accused to the High Court. He argued that their bail application before the High Court should not be used as an excuse by the prosecution to delay proceedings.
Adjournments in the bail applications have been by the state non-appearance, so it will prejudice us if that is used as the reason to delay us further.
Moyizi also asked Magistrate Sejemba to deliver a ruling on their complaint regarding the conduct of the prosecution. He further argued that the government continues to frustrate the rights of the accused persons. They should either be released on bail, the charges dismissed, and the case stayed until the prosecution is ready to proceed. However, Magistrate Deogracius Sejemba adjourned the case to the 25th of this month, directing prosecution to produce the case file so that Chivumbi and other 23 people arrested at the beginning of this year are committed to the High Court to answer terrorism charges.
The state is not ready to prosecute a matter for lack of evidence like is apparent. Then they release the people unconditionally or maintain a holding charge when you conclude the investigations and ready, then the people can stand trial. It is an abuse of process and the powers of the DPP that will continue coming to Butambala. The state at least should be compassionate in such circumstances of at least holding these charges. When they are ready, we shall come back. Let the students belong to school. Children belong to their parents and school. They don't belong to prison.
We now move over to matters health, or the victory of a disease. It is the Ministry of Health that has confirmed another case of Ebola, bringing the total number of cases to from 15 to 16 as of today. According to the ministry, 13 persons are admitted, while 2 have been discharged after winning the battle against Ebola, with one death of a Congolese national whose body was repatriated back home. The ministry attributes the improved recovery rate to Uganda's strengthened Ebola response measures. These include establishment of specialized Ebola treatment units and the redeployment of highly trained healthcare workers with expertise to manage the Ebola cases. The Ministry of Health emphasized that these interventions were introduced after the outbreak began, but but have been very much part and parcel of the country's preparedness strategy for some time. The ministry says this has enabled patients to access specialized medical care quickly, contributing to better treatment outcomes and helping to contain the spread of the disease. Meanwhile, the ministry expressed concern over countries that have imposed travel restrictions on Ugandans following the outbreak. The World Health Organization does maintain that restricting entry into countries is the most effective response to an Ebola outbreak. Is not the most effective response to an Ebola outbreak. Instead, it recommends, that's the World Health Organization, that countries should strengthen screening and surveillance systems to ensure travelers are properly assessed and if there are any suspected cases, they are detected very, very clearly. Over to matters agriculture, where experts within the agriculture sector have called upon smallholder farmers across the country to prioritize market-oriented production to overcome challenges affecting the sector. The call was made during the 14th Annual National Forum on Agriculture and Food Security held under the theme Investing in Irrigation to Build a Climate-Resilient Smallholder Farmer in Uganda.
Smallholder farmers are increasingly transitioning from dependence on rainfall to controlled and climate-resilient farming through irrigation. Speaking during the 14th Annual National Forum on Agriculture and Food Security, a research fellow at the Economic Policy Research Center, Dr. Christine Arata Alum, revealed that climate change, especially prolonged drought, has significantly affected farmers in northern Uganda, reducing agricultural productivity and threatening livelihoods. Arata notes that farmers need to adopt
Acholi, Karamoja and Bukit, basically being the main sub-regions that are hit the hardest by drought. So very many farmers, we find that less than 10% of farmers are actually uptaking these irrigation initiatives.
Meanwhile, the Assistant Commissioner Water for Agriculture Production at the Ministry of Agriculture, Francis Songoni Wanilova, says the ministry is focusing on promoting group farming among small-scale farmers to ease the provision of irrigation services across the country.
Enterprise selection, joint aggregation, so that we don't rely on we try to go around the problems of fragmentation.
Stakeholders at the forum emphasized the importance of investing in irrigation systems as a key strategy for building climate resilience and ensuring sustainable food security among Uganda's smallholder farmers.
About 3% of the arable land is under irrigation. That means for about 9 months of the year, it is not possible for farmers to take advantage of the fertile land that they have or the land that can be made fertile through manure and fertilization.
Carrying cash can be stressful. The I&M Bank multi-currency prepaid card makes paying smart and simple. Load and spend confidently in 9 currencies: Ugandan shilling, Kenyan shilling, Tanzanian shilling, Rwandan franc, Indian rupees, United States dollar, British pound, euro, and South African rand. Enjoy safe, simple payments wherever you go. The I&M Bank multi-currency prepaid card is open to everyone, whether you have an I&M Bank account or not. Get yours today and pay confidently worldwide in 9 currencies.
I&M Bank Uganda Limited is regulated by Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund up to 10 million shillings. Terms and conditions apply.
I&M Bank, on your side.
The National Mosquito Net Distribution Campaign is back. No one should die of malaria in this era. It is your responsibility to chase malaria from your home. The good news is that the government of Uganda has once again started distribution of mosquito nets under the 5th Universal Coverage Campaign, also known as the Under the Net campaign. Under this exercise, 1 mosquito net will be distributed per 2 people in every household. A village health team member, a community health extension worker, also known as a CHU, and the LC1 chairperson will move house to house to register members of the household in preparation for receiving their mosquito nets. Do not lie back. Ensure that you register all your household members to receive a mosquito net. On the distribution date, move to your distribution point and receive your net. Mosquito nets protect you and your family members from infectious mosquito bites that lead to malaria. Ensure that you receive the net, hang the net, and sleep under the net every night.
Sorry, the number you have called is currently switched off. Please try again later.
The Kaman is not picking up my calls. He has now switched off his phone. He looked legit, so I paid him 500k to process my NSSF money. How dare you!
You got Glovo. You got Glovo. You can order what you want. You can get what you need. You got Glovo. You got it all. Order Glovo and receive it in minutes.
Your uncle wants you to get a loan. He says you should buy a Beamer to stop embarrassing him in front of his friends with your malnourished car. That you should buy one of those expensive shirts they call Versace, so that people stop spreading rumors that his family has no style. That you need an iPhone because he's tired of biting his tongue whenever he tries to pronounce that funny thing you're holding. Good thing you've got ABSA. Our loans are not designed for others to change what they say about you. They are designed to support your growth. Visit absa.co.ug for personal loans that help where it matters. ABSA, your story matters.
So tasty, delicious, some snacks. Some snacks. So yummy, yummy. Yummy, yummy.
Boy and girl, come here, so Uncle Son's got you. Me have some snacks for you. Your man, papa, your granny and your picnic. Well, if I can, the snacks for you. Come pick anything you want. Some snacks for your tummy. Yummy, yummy.
Sam's, delivering memorable moments in every household.
Why pay for someone else's repairs? Say goodbye to hidden costs and hello to peace of mind of a brand new start. Discover the Suzuki range of unmatched, fuel-efficient and reliable options. From the iconic Jimny to the new Across Hybrid. Find the perfect blend of style and world-class efficiency. Upgrade today and enjoy 1 year of free fuel and comprehensive insurance, plus 2 years of free service and a 3-year warranty. Trade in your current car or choose financing to start driving as you pay installments. Don't wait. Visit the Suzuki showroom today or call 0800-211-033 to get started.
Business Pulse, brought to you by
Welcome back. Let's talk about your money here on Business Pulse. Now, economists have welcomed the Bank of Uganda's decision to introduce daily and weekly over-the-counter cash withdrawal limits beginning January 1st, 2027, describing the move as a significant milestone in Uganda's transition toward a cashless economy and a more transparent financial system. According to the Bank of Uganda, the decision is driven by the growing consumer preference for electronic payments, which have gained popularity due to their convenience, speed and security. Economists argue that the move will help reduce the circulation of large volumes of cash, making it more difficult for individuals and businesses to engage in money laundering, tax evasion and corruption.
Uganda's journey towards a cashless economy received a major boost this week after the Bank of Uganda announced new limits on over-the-counter cash withdrawals. The new limits are expected to have significant implications on businesses that rely heavily on cash transactions, particularly traders, wholesalers, transport operators and enterprises in the formal sector. The Uganda Bankers Association says the move was long in waiting and just awaiting implementation.
All the strategy is to go digital. It's something that BOU has engaged us on. We've had discussions.
Economists say such businesses may be compelled to increasingly embrace digital payment platforms, bank transfers and mobile money services that manage their day-to-day operations.
So what we are seeing in the Bank of Uganda move is basically 50% of all financial transactions, be it foreign currency, UGX, the checks, any banking transaction. And what they are basically trying to cure about 1, 2, or 3. One, they want to digitize the whole financial or banking system. Whether you are withdrawing, whether you are transferring, whether you are receiving, everything has to be digital. The second thing that they are trying to cure is money laundering. But we also have to be cognizant that as we digitize the financial system, is it inclusive enough for our local people to appreciate, to be able to track into the system?
He said the policy will also strengthen government efforts to widen the tax base by bringing more economic transactions into the formal financial system.
Because this system will also help to trace, to also tap into the taxation. Because why would you withdraw 500 million shillings? Taking it where? To do what? Have you paid tax?
I think that's an easier discussion to have then. How do we bring down transaction costs or any, whether it's from a tax on electronic, infrastructure or prices or the infrastructure rails to ensure.
Well, in numbers that matter, let's have a look at how the central bank has lowered the interbank check value limits. And let's see it in much different currencies altogether. Now, when you look at checks in US dollars, these are the different currencies. The current limit was standing at 10 million Uganda shillings. That's for an interbank check. Right now, you can only write a check for up to 5 million. Previously, in terms of the dollar, 2,750 is what you could write a check to, but now that's gone down to 1,375. And as you can see the numbers over there, that's the differences altogether in how much you can actually have limits to. What this actually means is that once you reach this limit, you are encouraged to basically go digital and use cashless rather. And the Kenyan shilling as well. That's what you see over there. Now, when you're looking at individual accounts for daily withdrawals, this is the amount of money that you're going to withdraw daily. Individual accounts, you can only, previously you could only withdraw from up to 500 million, that is. But now, oh, that's weekly rather. Daily was 50 million. Whereas corporate businesses, daily withdrawals cap is about 250 million. While weekly cash withdrawals cap are about 2.5 billion Uganda shillings. I'm asking myself, if you're withdrawing 50 million shillings, where is it going? Some people are probably already doing that, and those are the limitations so far. Now, Stanbic Bank Uganda has unveiled an expanded portfolio of digital lending, insurance and commercial financing solutions aimed at accelerating financial inclusion and making banking services more accessible to millions of Ugandans. Launched under the bank's ongoing campaign, the initiative leverages digital technology to enable customers to access loans, insurance, access also products and other financial services without visiting a bank hall or completing lengthy paperwork. Now, speaking during the launch, the head of digital e-commerce at Stanbic Bank says the campaign aligns with the bank's purpose of driving Uganda's growth through innovation and customer-centric solutions.
To enable our people save better. One, we know school fees is a regular thing. We know that if you have a child, whether the child is young, medium, maybe let's say maybe maybe in upper primary or secondary, you will start thinking about university. And therefore, we have endowments. These are unique savings products that will enable you to set aside a certain amount of money consistently every month, and that will be able to gain an interest at the end of the day.
So we have seen that many of our customers are adopting digital journeys. Many of them are now using digital banking. They're using our smart app. They're using internet banking to do their banking. Previously, they would have to come to the branch to fill papers, to queue, to be able to get a loan. Because we understand that time is precious to you, we have come up with our digital lending products. You're able to take up our loans at any time, 24/7.
Sometimes escape begins above the clouds, where peace waits beneath the trees. Here, nature invites you to breathe, to reconnect, to feel alive again. Where warm welcomes feel as natural as the forest around you. A sanctuary designed for comfort. And moments made to flow effortlessly. Forest Resort Louise, where nature welcomes you home.
Today we are in Makerere College School, and we've got our winner, and that is none other than Michelle. I am sure you've already gotten the school fees, and the excitement is already there. Thank you so much.
Bitufu JVD. Michelle has won school fees for a year. Never Zaba Momo. 3 times paid, cleared.
You can also stand a chance to win